Welcome to the Leading Visionaries podcast, featuring stellar conversations with emerging and established leading visionaries. Thanks for joining us today as we celebrate and spotlight the leading visionaries who are thinking differently, seeing new possibilities, have the courage to dream big, take inspired action, and create conscious change all around the world. Now, here's your host, Anjel B. Hartwell.
Welcome to another episode of the Leading Visionaries podcast, where we celebrate the ingenious, insightful, innovative, and inspired leading visionaries of our time and provide our listeners with world-class examples of the kind of courage, clarity, and confidence it takes to bring visions into reality. This is your host, Anjel B. Hartwell, and today we welcome our very special guest, Justin Breen. Justin is the founder and CEO of the global PR firm BR Epic and exclusive connectivity platform BR Epic Network. His newest book, Epic Life, features a foreword from Dr. Peter Diamandis and has been the #1 overall book for sales on Amazon Kindle. It also recently made the Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller lists, and I am very delighted to bring you to the show today. Welcome, Justin.
It's great to be here. I'm very relaxed, probably because I did some good breathing there. So thank you, and you're a true visionary. Totally can hear it. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I would love to have you talk directly about being a visionary or what you perceive a visionary is, and maybe share with us some experiences that you've had throughout your life as a leader and as a visionary, and some of the challenges you might have come up against.
Yeah. So normally I answer right away, but I think you've calmed me down so much that I'm actually thinking and slowing down. But my entire day is doing one of two things. I'm a very simple person. So one is spending time with my family, my wife, and our 2 sons, who are both visionaries, or talking to the world's top entrepreneurs, top visionaries. So definitely not human, not consultant, not business owner, just pure visionaries changing the world. And then my brain hears blah, 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 and then simplifies it into patterns. So that's just how it works. I stopped questioning my brain a long time ago. So a visionary is usually, but not always, an alien within their own family, community, and verticals. The only people who understand us are the top entrepreneur visionaries on the planet. That's one. So most visionaries spend most of their lives, if not all their lives, talking to people who have no idea what they're talking about. That's not good. I've also found visionaries have 2 essential attributes in their mindset too. One is they live in full abundance. There is no scarcity. And just as if not as important is they look at everything as an investment. There is no cost. So if someone asks me, what do you cost or charge? 1, they're not a visionary. 2, I just stop talking to them, because people that ask, what do you cost or charge? And people that live in scarcity hang out with people that ask, what do you cost or charge? And then people that live in abundance and ask, what does an investment with you look like? Live with people who live in abundance and ask, what does an investment with you look like? The other thing is too, there's a great book called Driven by Dr. Doug Brackman. He also is an 8 quick start in Colby like you are. And it's a tremendous book about ADHD, ADD. It's not a disorder. It's a sign of genius mislabeled by humans who don't understand it. And there's a free assessment that he created at iamdriven.com. It takes 5 minutes. And the typical human brain is a small gray circle. The typical driven brain is a giant red circle around it. I'm guessing yours is a giant red circle. I sent him mine, and he and I have become good friends very quickly. He said he's never seen a brain like mine, I guess in a good way, where my intuition, and I'm guessing yours is as well, it's fully off the charts. Like my intuition's just off the charts, but I'm actually less bored than an average human because I never leave my zone of genius, ever. I never do something that I don't like to do or what I'm not good at. Most visionaries are like you, where they're idea, shiny object, start something new. I am not like that. I am focused on two things, my family and growing network on a global level. So I stay in that zone of genius all day, every day.
Beautiful. Well, I love that. And I love that as a piece of wisdom for those leading visionaries who are going to be listening to this. And I receive that, because one of the things I will share, I did say to you that I'm wanting to start the next thing often. Right. And I have become tempered. I will say that I have become tempered over
had to
time.
Learn it. Had to learn it.
Yeah, I had to learn it. And I have become clearer about removing things from my activities. I love that you're down to 2, right? And I have become clearer and I am improving on reducing the extraneous activities. And I think that's a really important point for leading visionaries, is that if you really truly will manifest and materialize your vision in its fullness. So there are plenty of people who manifest vision and it's partial.
No follow through.
Right. Because they haven't fully energized that, either no follow through, or they're distracted and have too many things that they're doing.
That's called that's ADD.
That's
ADD diagnosed or undiagnosed, which I don't have.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I want to talk too about ADHD and ADD. Yeah. When my child, you and I were talking in the green room before we started the interview, when my child was small, it seemed as if that might be coming down the pike from the humans, that diagnosis was going to be coming down the pike. And I refused to allow it. Right. I actually said, no, we're not going to put those things in the papers that the government and the medical system likes to play with. And I refused that. And for more than one reason. One, I knew that was not going to serve. And 2, I did not want him to be in the medication zone. So I want to talk now, Justin, about, was this always the case for you, that you were hyper focused on, just these 2 things, your family and building your global network? So you came in, you embodied with a very clear directive at the soul level. Maybe we can 100%. Say that.
Oh, 100%. So for a human, that would be like, what are you talking about? So, but visionary, again, we're aliens. You're either born someone like this or you're not. I firmly believe that. I would, again, there are 4 types of visionaries that I've seen. Again, simplify everything in a pattern. So one is ADD, ADHD, diagnosed or undiagnosed. Again, it's not a disorder. 2, minor Asperger's. My wife, who is a pediatrician, very rarely will prescribe medication for ADHD. She's very against that. There are some extreme cases where she will, but she's unofficially diagnosed me with minor Asperger's, which I would agree with. So that's 2. 3 is dyslexia. 30% of visionaries have dyslexia, so they can't learn one way. So figure it out. And then 4. Exceptionally high IQ and or EQ, regardless of whether they did well in school. Basically, everyone I talk to is 140 and above. 140 is genius. That's less than 1% of the population. The lowest IQ of anyone I've talked to in the last 2 years is 131. The highest is 173. When you get over 160, there's basically no human under there. It's like cyborgs. Very hard, very, very difficult life, because there's very few people to relate to. And then I'm 139. My wife is also 139, which is interesting. So we're like bridges between geniuses and humans. But no, I mean, I was this person before I was born. I mean, my dad he was 61 when I was born. My mom was 27. My dad would be 107 now if he was alive. World War II hero, shot down multiple times in combat, became attorney in Nuremberg, Nazi war crime trials, genius writer, no excuses. No excuses. And my mom, 27, when my dad was in his late 50s, a drunk driver hit him. Drunk driver was killed. My dad broke every bone in his body and survived. And then my mom was his nurse. My dad woke up in hospital bed and saw my mom, thought she was an angel, but it was my mom. And then here I am. And then most of my days talking to the world's top visionaries, and my mom has more drive and hustle than anyone I'd ever met. So I mean, here I am. So genetically, soul wise, whatever you want to say, but I'm just the result of that. And then I can just see things. I can see things in space. It's very hard for me to like hold a pencil or put on a bike helmet or tie my shoes, but I can just see things. I can hear it. And then, oh, here's your answer.
Yeah, I love that. Well,
yeah,
I have dyslexia. I was diagnosed with dyslexia.
Thanks,
and I discovered another thing, Justin, in my journey through entrepreneurship, that I likely also have what's known as dyscalculia.
Explain.
Dyscalculia is the same as dyslexia. Dyslexia is with letters and words. Dyscalculia is with numbers. So when I was a child, my mom was a bookkeeper.
Oh my God. Your mom's a bookkeeper and you can't tell the number. Oh my God.
And she had me doing the bookkeeping when I was little. And I would sit in that chair for hours, pushing the little buttons on the calculator, trying to make the columns add up. And inevitably, it was a reversal, which always it's off by 9.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So a lot of my childhood was spent learning bookkeeping and spending hours with the adding machine on the big green ledgers, trying to make the numbers add up for hours. Yeah. Anyway. So, and what I really want our listeners to hear, Justin, is very advanced visionaries. Very advanced visionaries. I think there's a spectrum of visionaries.
100%. Well, yeah. Right? Spectrum's a good word choice for that.
Yeah. So very advanced visionaries are seeing multidimensionally. We're seeing in ways that nobody who is either, not as visionary. I think everyone has the equipment for it, but they don't do anything with it. Right. Yeah. But not everyone is doing anything with it.
I don't talk to those. That's my point. I talk to the people that actually do it. But okay. So this is what a visionary actually is, or an entrepreneur. And I'm not talking about silver spoons. That's a fundamentally different discussion. So again, all I do is talk to people like us. And then for what that story you just told me, I felt that that's why I was like reacting like that. Because on Strength Finders, Gallup Clifton Strength Finders, I'm dead last in empathy. However, for visionaries, I have endless, that's sickened to me you just got tortured your entire childhood. Oh, that's just horrible. And I could feel that immediately. But anyway, so this is what separates visionaries from humans, or whatever you want to call them, business owners. That stuff annoys me. But so these are the 4 things. And basically everyone I talk to now is 3s and 4s. I used to talk to 1s and 2s, but that was small business owners or humans or employees. But now it's mostly 3s and 4s. So the 4 things are bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy, 2, depression, 3, the highest level of anxiety you can imagine, and 4, likely and or possible traumatic experiences as a child or young adult. Yeah, not everyone knows. So humans, business owners, consultants, those are excuses. Visionary, figure it out. So what a visionary is they're the most damaged person, the most damaged with the best coping skills, the highest IQ, highest EQ. You're very high IQ. Someone without that IQ and or EQ could not do what you're doing. They couldn't. They don't have the coping skills or the ability to do it. So that's what a true visionary is. Most damaged, best coping skills.
Well, we are going to take a quick break on that. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about your book. But right now, listeners, are you a leading visionary or in the role of leading other visionaries? Consider joining our community and sharing your feedback and takeaways from each episode. We invite you to join us and support this podcast by making a donation at leadingvisionariespodcast.com. Interested in finding out more about how you can receive support for getting your vision out of the air and onto the ground? You can apply to qualify for a complimentary consult with me or a member of my team by clicking the Connect with Anjel button on the website. Be sure to share this show in your own spirals of influence with the people who you think might benefit from our content. 1s, 2s, 3s, or 4s. I want to say a big thank you to all of our listeners who are downloading, rating, and reviewing. We're welcoming thousands and thousands of downloads from all over the world. I want to shout out this week to our listeners in outer space. I'm just going to go there. I'm going to say to our listeners, wherever you are listening in the tech zone, right? You're listening and tuning in from wherever you are in the world. And so I want to shout out to those listeners, our alien listeners in outer space. And we will be right back with Justin Breen.
The Leading Visionaries podcast is brought to you by the Creative Age Consulting Group. Are you the one who thinks differently, who is called to create a significant conscious change in the world, who is seeing and dreaming of a better way for your industry, your community, humanity? Creative Age Consulting Group is hired to guide leading visionaries just like you who want to break through the static in order to clearly express and confidently enroll support for their vision in a way that makes it inevitable that it will come to pass. Your word is your wand, and as the leader, your ability to articulate and communicate your vision is essential to its materialization and monetization. Please enjoy with our compliments a free copy of the book, Be Heard by Millions and Live Your Destiny, which was a #1 new release in 3 categories to get you started. The book is yours by visiting gift.leadingvisionariespodcast.com.
And we are back with Justin Breen. And before we went to the break, we were talking about the 4 different types of visionaries. But before we go there, I want to let you know where you can find out more about Justin. And you can go to brepicllc.com, brepicllc.com, and definitely take a look at his book, Epic Life, which I'm sure you'll find on the website, and consider downloading it or purchasing it so that you can get more of his vision on your own life. And so, Justin, before we went to the break, you said trauma. I'll raise my hand on that one too. You think that doing bookkeeping was trauma? That was actually the easy part.
Are you kidding? I mean, you just got tortured with
that was easy. That was the easy part. My dad was a raging alcoholic, and my mother was probably a borderline personality disorder person.
Right. That's why you breathe before the podcast. I understand.
Right. The big torture was having to sit at the stupid piano and for 8 years take piano lessons that I absolutely hated. And it was because my mom heard me playing around with the old crappy piano and went out and spent $1,000 on a piano back in the late 60s when $1,000 was a lot of money for a piano. Anyway, let's go now, Justin, to leadership. And I'd love to have you talk about your role in being this kind of connector, the networker, the person who is putting the people together who are here with big vision for the evolution of the planet. I mean, that's really what we're here for. I know what I'm here for. I'm here to evolve the entire consciousnness of the planet.
A real piano. That's your real piano.
Exactly. So let's talk about leading.
Okay. Yeah. So I hear blah, 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 simplify, blah, 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 simple. And so purpose of my life is to be connecting superhero for every visionary who shares their stories with the world, not their world people. It's boring to me. I guess in this case, we'll say the universe or the galaxy or whatever I'm at, who's ever listening right now. But so again, I'm either spending time with my family or doing that. Never leave that zone of genius. And it's endlessly fun and it's lucrative, and mostly it allows me to see my family, but it's the purpose of my life. And I was talking to my 8-year-old who's a pure visionary. And we were talking about bending time because we don't talk about, human stuff. But so he provided the single greatest definition of what life is that I've heard so far anyway. So he's 8. We were out having pizza. So we were talking about bending time. And so his name's Chase. He's a 9 quick start, just an FYI, but in Colby. So he considers life one long great day. So yesterday's before you're born, tomorrow's after you die. So there's no Tuesday or Thursday, whatever that is. But so he said there are two ways to have a great long day, long life, great life. 1, create more living things. Fundamental reason for any living thing is to create more living things. I don't necessarily think there's an argument against that. If there is, we wouldn't be here, but I guess someone can make that argument. I agree with my son. And then 2 is do what you like to do and what you're good at every single day or every chance you can, just get better at it. So that's pretty much what I do. Create living things. I've created 2 living things, and then I'm do what I like to do and what I'm good at every single day. So to me, that's leadership is doing what you like to do and what you're good at, regardless of whether you're a visionary or not.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. So just for our listeners who may not understand what Kolbe is an assessment tool that you can use. And I think it's at Kolbe, KOLBE.com. We'll have that for you in the show notes. And, one of the things that you also said before we went to the break, you talked about the ones, the twos, the threes, and the fours, the visionaries. And you said that by doing, on this side of the interview, you said by doing what you like to do, it's been lucrative for you. And so for those visionaries who maybe are a one, skirting the edge of bankruptcy, because that, was one of your identifiers.
Yep.
What would be your guidance to help them to... No, we don't want to do that. Okay. We're not going there.
Nope. Okay. Visionary would never ask that. Nope.
Okay, great. So
no. So my litmus test is my dad was shot down multiple times in World War II, many times without a parachute, got back into a plane. Visionary, you're either someone who can do that or not.
Right. Okay, great. I got it.
No.
You're well, and it's interesting because you use the definition of skirting the edge of bankruptcy. So help us understand what that means. If they're really a visionary, are they?
Well, it's a great subject. I was talking to one
of Africa's... Is it a trauma thing? Is it a thing that they're putting themselves on the edge? They're edging so that they can hone their capabilities further? Is that what it is?
Oh, tremendous brain by you on that. That's high IQ right there. Because you did a deep dive on that initial or that exact one. No one's ever asked me that. Usually they go into the trauma or the depression, not the bankruptcy. So here's how I'll answer that. One, I'm 3 of those 4 things. The only one I have not had to worry about is bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy. Not all, but most people I talk to now are all 4. The most interesting conversation I had regarding what you just asked, he's one of Africa's top entrepreneurs. He's lost millions, if not billions. He's made millions, if not billions. And I was telling him about the all 4 things, and he told me, maybe this answers your question. He said it's essential to go through all 4. Essential, because that's the only way to transform from pride to purpose. I don't necessarily agree with that, because I'm definitely living in my true purpose. However, the really, 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 I guess if the most successful ones that I know are almost always all 4. Almost always. I'll give you a perfect example. Dan Sullivan, he's the co-founder of Strategic Coach. I'm very grateful to be in that organization. It's one of the top entrepreneurial groups on the planet. I'm very confident saying that. To land the plane, currently invest probably, at least $30K a year in that. I'd easily invest $50K, if not more. Good investment. He was in his mid-30s. He was bankrupt and divorced on the same day. Someday. But now I think he just turned 79 or 80, and he's, he'll never see. He wants to live to 156, thousands upon thousands of top entrepreneurs on the planet. So, that's a good example of that. I had with the PR stuff, whatever you want to call PR, favorite is the wrong word. The definitely is the wrong word, but my favorite story of one of our partners is his grandfather was decapitated in front of him in Burma when he was a child. So not Myanmar, Burma, decapitated in front of him. He and his dad went to Hong Kong with $10 in their pocket when he was a child. They created 2 8-figure businesses, and then he hired the PR firm he created an at-home robot with like a pill dispenser and a drone because his mom has Alzheimer's and dementia. So it keeps people with Alzheimer's dementia occupied. So that's an all 4 at the highest level. And when I guess, again, to dovetail on what you asked, because it's a great question, I think if you go through all 4 of those things, there are only 2 ways to go from that: up or, unfortunately the other thing happens.
Up or out. Up or out.
Up or out. Yeah. But mostly it's up. Most of the time it's up.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, we've only got about a minute left, Justin. So in the last minute, if there's some kind of transmission that you feel would be of benefit to deliver before we close, the microphone is yours.
Well, 1 minute. So what I again, why I wrote Epic Life is so it's how to build collaborative global companies while putting your loved ones first. So people like us, I know that's the message that people like us want. They just don't know how to do it, because what I've seen, again, everything's a pattern. Entrepreneurs, most damaged people with best coping skills, they use those coping skills to create cars, wealth, massive exit, whatever that is. And then again, not always, but many times they torch their family or never have a family in the process. So that's a bad idea. And I've actually found by putting family first and network first that all this other business owner stuff or whatever takes care of itself.
Oh, I love that. I cannot wait to read the book, Justin.
Thank you
so much for coming today and for sharing your vision and your leadership and your clarity. I love clarity. My favorite saying is clarity is divinity, and you are epically clear. So thank you.
Clarity is divinity.
Yes. Clarity is divinity.
I like that one. I'm right. So once a month, someone like you says something like that, and then I write it down, and then it possibly becomes a chapter in next book. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, I have now been a writer downer. All right. Excellent.
That's very rare. That does not happen a lot.
Oh, well, thank you. Listeners, we love feedback. Please let us know what you thought of today's show by joining our community, sharing your takeaways, asking questions, or submitting guest suggestions. You can weave your visionary thread into our fabric by opting in on our website at leadingvisionariespodcast.com or by interacting with us on social. Look for the handle Leading Visionaries Podcast on all the major platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep your eyes, ears, and hearts open. And remember, you are here to create conscious change.
Thanks for tuning in, downloading, and listening. Be sure to rate and review Leading Visionaries on Apple Podcasts and share with other people you know who can benefit from today's episode. Leading Visionaries is the premier podcast series for informing, activating, and inspiring the leading visionaries who are called to create conscious change and know that now is the best time to welcome wealth and cultivate a web of collaborative support to bring their vision to life. We invite your feedback and guest suggestions and invite you to subscribe to our mailing list to be notified of new episodes at leadingvisionariespodcast.com.